Smoke curls at dusk as wet earth clings to wandering feet. On a windswept plain in Africa, a small band huddles beside a newly tamed fire. Smoke stings the eyes, meat sizzles, and in a small palm, a child rolls the hard seeds of a future yet to be planted. The long drift of the hunt gave way to the rhythm of the harvest. Along the fertile banks of great rivers, villages swelled into the world's first cities. In Mesopotamia and along the Nile, scribes etched laws onto wet clay. Priests raised stepped towers to the heavens, while grain filled storehouses and armies stood guard. To the east, the Indus Valley gave rise to cities of straight streets and cool wells, while along China's Yellow River, dynasties built great walls, mastered bronze, and kept meticulous records. Humanity was learning to organize, to build, to rule. From these foundations, grand experiments in power took shape. Persia bound its vast provinces with royal roads. Greece debated democracy in open assemblies. And Rome built an empire on the bedrock of law. Their legacies echo in the very structure of our modern world. But it wasn't just armies that crossed borders, it was ideas. Hinduism shaped ritual and story, Buddhism offered a path away from suffering, and Confucianism turned study into a sacred duty. Across the Western world, Judaism held to its covenant, Christianity preached salvation, and Islam united faith with community. Through scripture and sermon, these beliefs wove a moral fabric that stretched across continents. Caravans traced paths of silk and spice, while ships charted the currents of the Indian Ocean. They carried more than goods. Paper and gunpowder traveled west, transforming knowledge and warfare. But connection had a darker side. The Black Death arrived as an uninvited passenger, a stark reminder that a connected world shares its vulnerabilities as well as its wealth. Then, as now, a pandemic could circle the planet faster than our understanding. By the late Middle Ages, a Renaissance curiosity revived old arts and fueled new ambitions. Courage, credit, and the compass met the open ocean. Salt spray lashed the decks of ships pushing into unknown seas. As a cramped caravel slipped out of a European harbor at dawn, indigenous traders on a distant shore watched strange sails breach the horizon. In that moment, two halves of the world collided, creating a new, tangled reality. A simple cup of sweetened tea in a European city now held a hidden story of a faraway plantation, of bruised hands and the defiant beat of night drums. The demand for sugar was linked to slave uprisings in Haiti and to the very ideals of liberty that would unseat kings in France and the Americas. Ships carried captives and silver. The printing press carried arguments for freedom. Our world became deeply and often violently interwoven. Then, the pace of change accelerated. Steam, coal, and the factory clock remade life itself, sparking new rivalries that erupted into global war. From the ashes of empire, independence movements redrew the map of the world. A Cold War divided the planet, even as humanity took its first steps toward fragile global rules of peace. The streets filled with calls for civil rights and equality, challenging the old orders once more. Today, digital networks bind our markets and our minds, while climate change tests the limits of our shared home. We wrestle with the power to edit our own genes and the rise of artificial intelligence, constantly reimagining what it means to belong. The patterns of history, of connection, conflict, and change continue to shape our choices as we follow them toward whatever comes next.